So, Mary, you can take it away tonight and tell us all about our next series of Excel training.
Yes. All right. Thank you. And welcome, everybody. It's good to see everybody back. So, over the course of the week, I did that research just like Stacy did on arrays, but I also went through the rest of the book. And in my going through the book, I thought to myself, some of the ways that they laid it out, I didn't quite agree with. So, we're going to arrays was in module 2, and they also talked a little bit, did some links in module 2. Then when you move into module 3, they talk about protecting your workbook, freezing columns, splitting the window, and hiding the frames. And then in 4, they talk about multiple sheets. Well, I'm flipping it around a little bit tonight. We're going to start off with module 4, and then we're going to get back to module 3 and the links and linking things and covering all that this evening. And that's how we're going to do it. I'm kind of not going by the book because I found the book in a couple different areas. It's like the book is 2013 and I'm using 2016. And if you're using 365, there's been a couple generations of Excel. So things are a little bit different. The book is a little bit more complicated in the way they say it. And where now in 2016, it's different. So what we're going over is what it's for 2016. So working with multiple spreadsheets, and I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And all right, so I have in front of here a sheet that I call sales, and how to move between sheets. And I believe we did a lot of the stuff that's in the book. Seems to me that we want over this on the first night, but it's in this book and we're just going to review it. So moving between sheets is, you can see down here at the bottom, the different tabs are the different sheets that are in this workbook. And I just move between each one of them. Now, if I wanted to add a sheet, I hit the plus sign and to name it, right click it, and then I can name it. I'm going to just name it new sheet. Simple as that. Removing a sheet, click on the sheet you want to remove, hit delete. If I want to change the orders, I can just move them around. I just moved Midwest past Gulf, and I can do that with Pacific, put it in that order. You can do that any way you like within your workbook. These are different sheets within this big workbook that I have going here. They're simple. The people have their Excel open. If you do, you want to take a moment and try it.
Feel free to unmute yourselves and be able to communicate. Do you want to try it?
For those of you who do you have Excel open where you can try it? Nod your head or speak.
Nicole's unmuted. What did you say, Nicole?
I have my Excel open. I use this, I do this a lot at work. I like that you can color code the tabs just so they stand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
I find myself, this is Gary, I find myself wanting to copy and create, so I get the same formatting in one sheet to bring it to another sheet. So I do that a lot.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Okay, so that is, creating a new sheet, inserting in a new sheet, naming a new sheet. Also in here, if I go back to this item right here, the next, one of the other things in the book is inserting a chart on a new sheet. And this what's in the book is not the way to follow to do it. So this sales information that I have here, I'm going to highlight it. And because I want to create a pie chart, so I'm not going to grab the total because I want to see how all individual regions worked with this. And actually, I'm going to move over a little bit so I can see that the quarters that are here. This is the sales total for all regions. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. Again, I go up to insert, and I want to create a pie chart this time. And I'm going to do a 3PD pie chart. If you look across the top of the screen, you see the pie charts. And if you look over to the right, move chart. There I'm going to select move chart, and I'm going to create this chart. Instead of placing it right in the worksheet that I'm working on, I'm going to ask it to go to a new sheet. And I'm going to call it pie graph. Of sales. I hit OK. And that shows up down here. You can see it's a whole new sheet. I go back to where I originally got it. It's tied to that right there. So that you can have your sheets, your graphs on a separate sheet. Very easy thing to do. The instructions in the book I thought were very complicated. And so anybody can you take a few minutes to just on your own, if you have a spreadsheet already that you can make a graph out of, if not, quickly type what's here and try that for yourself.
And if you are trying to make a graph or a pie chart for the first time, and you're not sure after you find some information what Mary just did, I mean, just unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, because I can walk you through it again. It's difficult because we're doing this virtually compared to if we were in the classroom and you could see what you were doing and actually be doing it right along with me. I want you to take the opportunity to do this. Nicole, have you done that before?
Yes, I use them to track certain things at our office on a monthly basis.
Nice.
Okay, and Nikki, you're on mute, Nikki.
I've been asked to, so I'm slowly learning how to do it. So this is very helpful for me.
Okay. Did you give it a little try right now?
I did, yes.
Okay, and you too, Gary?
I haven't used it much lately. I used to when I was working, since I'm retired, but I'm doing it right now and it's a piece of cake.
It is a piece of cake, and if you read the instructions in the book, it wasn't a piece of cake. So, and Sharon, did you take a stab at it? Did you?
No, I didn't
Oh,
take a
that's
stab
okay.
yet.
All right. And Lisa, did you? No. Are you able to at least write down how I said to do it? Would you like me to do it again a little bit slower so you can take notes?
If you would, just raise your hand so she knows. Okay,
Okay.
people would.
All right. So what I did was I highlighted this area right here, highlighted. Go up to the ribbon, go to insert, then come over to charts. I selected the pie symbol. Then you have a 2D, 3D. I selected, I'm going to 3D for what I did. So I'm going to do that again, 3D. Now I want to move it. I don't want it sitting right next to my spreadsheet with the information on it. I want to take it and put it into a different worksheet. So I go to move and select new sheet. And this time I'm going to leave it chart 3. Hit OK. And then you can see that I have a new tab down at the bottom that says chart 3, and it's that pie chart.
Question, please.
Yes, Candace.
Where was the move?
The move, look across the top of the ribbon, way over to the right. It says move chart.
Ah,
You
so
click
obvious.
that on?
Thank you.
Yep,
Okay,
no
gotcha.
problem.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I also found it, I think when I was on the chart, in the spreadsheet, I think I right-clicked on it and it came up as an option.
Yes, it does.
And the only struggle I'm having is I'm trying to resize it. And for some reason, it won't let me do it. Can you do it?
It's not letting me do it either.
Yeah, it's the same trouble I was having.
Not sure. I'm not
Now I don't feel
sure.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think when you do it as its own page, it expects you want it to be a full page graphic. And if you wanted to be able to size it, you would leave it next to your
Within the worksheet itself that you
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah, and then you could cut and paste it somewhere else if you didn't want it.
Yeah,
On the
I went over to file and selected print, and you can see it does take up the whole full page of it, so it would print out that way. So what Stacy is saying is, I think this is where I was.
Mhm.
If I did the insert again for the pie chart, left it here, I can resize it.
Okay.
And just so you know, you can cut and paste a pie chart right out of this Excel worksheet into a Word document if you had a need to do so.
Or if you were doing a PowerPoint presentation and you want to take your data that you have here and you've created a pie chart, you can do that too. You can cut and paste it right into PowerPoint.
Mary, can you show them how to give the chart a name?
Yes. You click on here at title. I highlighted it, I hit delete, and I'm going to type in total sales. and then I'm going to adjust it again. Got a text box so I can grab a hold of it. At least I thought I could. All right, and then your legend box down here, you can make that bigger. And you can also change the colors if you want to. I just clicked it on by clicking on the left, and you can actually pull your pie up, take sections of it out too, if you wanted to, playing with these commands over here. Right now I'm having a little difficulty. Every time I pop up, you guys block my screen over here. Thank you. Here's Q3 if I wanted to highlight it and separate it. And I did that by clicking on this here, clicking on Q3, and it clicked that on, and I was able to move it away. So you can do a lot of the different things with your charts. If you wanted to separate them, if you wanted to put the labels up here, and all that kind of editing happens within these characters here. So it's something that I have a homework assignment for you tonight that is written where it walks you through, like I did with a Word program when we were doing Word, that the instructions and step-by-step is right there. And when you do that, try some of the playing with the different colors and moving things apart. You know, just to play. And that's what you got to do, is you got to play with it to get comfortable with it. So that's, anybody have any questions about inserting a chart, whether it's within the worksheet or creating a different sheet? All right, because one of the things next that they talked about in the book was grouping charts or grouping your sheets. And this is different. It's updated now. All you have to do now is point at the bottom. I have the cursor down here at the bottom. Point to chart and press Control and the left side of your mouse, and you can group your sheets together. So I got all these, well, I just ungrouped them. And you would do that if you wanted to keep,
Excuse me.
if you had a multi-sheet workbook that you were working on, but you wanted certain sheets to stay together, you can group them so they are locked in place with one another, that they go together. And to undo them, it's just a matter of left clicking, hitting, yeah. I'm sorry. You click on one and right click, you have ungroup sheets, and it ungroups them all. Let me do that again. So to group them, you move your cursor down on the sheet, hit Control, left click. Move your cursor to chart 1, Control, left click. Atlantic, move your cursor on it, Control, left click. To undo them, right click and ungroup. Okay. Lisa, you got that?
Lisa, can you unmute yourself?
I'll have to watch the video.
Okay. There's probably a video on there.
You're recording.
Sometimes you too, if you Google it, you can get the just brief instructions to that walk you right through it. And if I'm talking too fast and you want to take down notes, stop me and I'll go a little bit slower. Okay, so that is the grouping. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is freezing and hiding columns. And I'm going to bring up another sheet to share with you. And go back to here. Stop sharing. And this time I got a sheet that I use a lot. So we have courses all the time and we have to keep attendance. And this is attendance for an LPN program that we've had. We've had it for several years. And each class has about 20 people in the class. I'm going to hide you guys. All right, we're at the very beginning of this spreadsheet. This is the LPN attendance. What I have here where it's all blacked out, I can't show you the names. So I block them out. But what I can show you is we have every day of the week for a year here, pretty much. The program runs about a year. And if I'm going to put, it started on Thursday, June 14, 2018. And if I click over, I will be going through the entire year. Right here, module 1 is when module 1 of the program started. There's some 2 weeks of prep before they start actually doing the coursework. And you can see I'm going across. Notice first name, last name, class hours. These 2 items right over here on the left-hand side, they are not moving. It's on my left-hand side. You may be viewing it differently. I don't know. They don't move because I have froze the panes. And we want to do that because as we plug in the hours each week, we don't want to have to type in their names, or we don't want to have to we want to make sure that everything lines up. And so this is the easiest way to do it, is to freeze your panes so that in the end, if I was to take that black fill out, I could get all the way to the end of the program and see where people are when they get to the end, how many hours that they have in the program. And that makes it easy. And what else makes it easy? The top several lines are also frozen so that as I go down, you can see that as I go down the screen, I would lose, if I didn't have them frozen, what day of the week it was. And when I'm doing, one person that's down here at the bottom, I want to be able to see this up here so I know I'm putting the right information into the right column. These are both 2 very helpful things. So what you do is you highlight. I highlighted rows 1, 2, and 3, and then I go to View, and under View you have freeze panes. If I click this on and select Unfreeze, I just unfroze those panes. I go back up here, I'm at the very top. As I scroll down, you can see how I'm now losing what's at the top. So when I get right down here, I don't know what day of the week I'm on. So it would be very, very easy for me to put in the wrong information. And that's why freezing panes becomes a very helpful thing. So to do that, to freeze them, highlight the rows that you want to freeze. Go to freeze, and it's under view on the top ribbon. Click on freeze panes, and I'm going to top row, select those. If I wanted it right now, we do have these frozen too. I click those on. Freeze first column. I think they are frozen. If I wanted to undo them, again, just click unfreeze. And now as I move over, I lose those. You can see how this can be very helpful for people, and it's really easy to do. People want to try that a little bit. If you have a spreadsheet on, just going in, highlighting the top row and freezing it. Stacy, do you use this at all?
I don't, but I think I might in the future.
Well, it does
I
come in
didn't-
handy.
Yeah, it would come in handy. Actually, I have been given a lot of things that would have benefited from that being used on the other end. You know what I mean? Spreadsheets where they didn't do the freezing, and then you're like, oh, because things, you know, oftentimes government documents and charts, they don't freeze it. So then once you scroll down a ways, you know, it's kind of
You
a
lose it.
challenge. Yeah.
And it makes it hard when you're trying to look up information.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a great feature. I will use it. Yeah.
Okay, and then what are the next feature of Excel I'm going to show you is how you can hide columns. This one that has the total for the intro, column M here, I'm going to highlight it. And hiding is easy too. All you have to do is I put the cursor on the line right between M and N, and then just move it over. You do not see M anymore. And just have to get back on it and make it come back alive. You can also do that. You notice it's up here. I'm still under view on the ribbon. It's up here too. You have hide and unhide. You can do that. You can hide a row. You can also hide column. Excuse me. That was a column I hid. You can hide your rows too. Just like that. I just hid row number 9. So sometimes when you're sharing a I'm not getting it back. A workbook and or if you weren't the one who created it, because I've had this happen to me where I noticed some information was missing, and as I looked at the side, and this is, you know, part of the reason why this is here, the addresses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ABC. If you notice that a letter is out of order or a number, you have a row hidden or a column hidden. That's how you can tell, because Excel doesn't change these at all across the top. They're standard all the way across the top. And as we keep going, you can see we get to AG, and you can keep going for a long time. Now we're at B's. If there's ever a letter missing, you got a hidden column or row and it can throw a sheet off very easy and throw a person who's working on it off. So that can come in handy, and I find it very helpful. These couple of things that I just showed you, for when I'm working in a spreadsheet like this, it does create, let's say, makes it easier by freezing the panes. And I can think of how we would use it if one of the student drops out and they're the number 9 student. We still have to keep information about them and their attendance. What we would do so that as we entered throughout the year, 3 months into the program, they drop out. We put their last date that they were in, the total, but then I would just hide them so that the next week when I start entering more people, everybody's still in order. That one person's gone. I don't have to worry about it because I'm overlooking that person. But in the very end, I would unhide them so they would come back. And I know that I've had incidents where I've had to track back to find out when their last day was in class. Having the spreadsheet makes it so much easy. Believe me, if you had to do that by hand, you'd be going through stacks of worksheets, attendance sign-in sheets, which makes it kind of long and difficult. So that's that was in module 3. Then protecting data was the next item that is in that they went over in the book. Now this is going back to home and going to back at home in view. Here under review is where you protect sheets. You protect a sheet. You have to click this on. You can use a password if you want to when you're trying to protect a worksheet. If you would protect a worksheet if you had formulas set up into the worksheet that you didn't want people to mess with, or things set a certain way. And this would make it so that people could use it, but they couldn't change the template or the format of your spreadsheet. They could look at it, but it would be the way you wanted it. And you want to do that, especially if you're doing something that you have somebody who's inexperienced working with you. They want to see it, and you definitely don't want to lose the data that you have put in there and such. You have to go here, and this is a 2-step process. As far as a password, that's up to you whether or not you want to put a password in there. If you wanted to share it, let's say you had a group of 4 people that you're working together, and one other person, you're giving them permission to add to it or make corrections, but the other 2 people you don't want to, then you would create a password and share it with the other person that you want to be able to do it. If you don't want people, you don't put a password in there. And I'm going to choose not to use a password and hit OK. Now that does not set it. You next have to go to File, and then under File, do Workbook. Click on Protect Workbook, and you can protect the current sheet, protect workbook structure, and that would be the all the sheets within the workbook. And you can also encrypt it with the password. And here you would do it, and that would make it final by selecting one of these things. And I'm going to hit OK here, and I'm just going to pick on I'm going to protect the current workbook, and that this is optional. I'm going to hit OK. Now that means I can't change things. So if I tried changing the 8 in that cell there and it pops up, I can't do it because I have it protected now. So it stays the same. We find this in our office when we're doing financial stuff. We like to protect the uh, worksheet so that the data doesn't get changed the next time somebody opens it. We'll, especially in some of the programs that we do, we have to do cost analysis sheets. And so when we do those type of sheets, we protect our spreadsheet so the information doesn't get changed. You as an individual, however you deemed it possible or the need for doing it, it's up to you to kind of figure out if you wanted it protected or not. So, and then again, if you were to undo it, you go back here and unprotect and click that on off. And then that gives me the opportunity to go back in and make those changes. But I didn't really want that. I leave that at that. Okay, so it's simple, very simple to do.
Question?
Yes.
A lot of times we get worksheets from somebody else and you have to click on enable editing or something like that. I don't think that's protection, but I don't know what it is that causes it.
We do that. That's something new, I would say, in at least the past year with all of Microsoft Office's, whether it's a Word document, Excel, PowerPoint. Whenever somebody sends me an attachment and it's a Word document, it only comes in as a view, and I have to go up and change it so that I can edit it. That is something new in the past year that Office has done. I don't know why they did it. As a person receiving it, you have a couple extra clicks to do, but it's pretty standard now.
Thank you.
So now we're gonna have a little fun. I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna go back to the sales because we're gonna talk about linking cells within the same workbook. And this was okay, back to this sheet right here. First, I want to show you, here's this, that's the Atlantic and data link. This sheet here. All right, I'm going to take this out, the chart out. So with the total sales region, I'm going to click on the first quarter. See where it says sum Atlantic? And second quarter, that's the sum of the Pacific. Third quarter, that's the sum of the Midwest. Fourth quarter is the sum from the Gulf. And these are from these worksheets right here. Okay, and that is actually, this probably should be fourth quarter. Do Pacific. This is Gulf.
You're in the Atlantic worksheet, just so you know.
I think that's, you're right. Thank you. I'm back in the score. I'll just leave those names there. I won't play with them. Cut. Okay. So how did I get those there? It was pretty easy to do. It's called basically cut and paste. But what was nice to be able to do is I was able to split the screen, and so that I could see the different worksheets and be able to grab from that one worksheet and bring it into the next. So I'm going to highlight this right here in this area. So I have that highlighted. To view the other worksheets, I hit View, Arrange, and make sure Title, Windows of Active Worksheets, okay. Then I go back to, actually go to New Window, hit View, Arrange, Tile, Windows, click. Now I have two worksheets in front of me. See, what I can do is I can look at different worksheets.
You only see the one.
Yeah, we can only see your total sales, all regions.
Really?
Because that's all
yeah.
you're sharing right now. You'd have
Yeah.
to, I don't know if you can share more than. If you share all of Excel, I don't know if you can do that.
That is a feature in Zoom. So the Zoom isn't allowing you to see my split screen.
Yeah, because you can only share one screen at a time. It probably interprets it as two.
Does Zoom have a share desktop option?
Let me see. If you go to share screen, Mary, if I do it, it'll mess up your where you are. So under share screen,
Yep, I'm there.
can you share your desktop? I feel like I've seen that in there. I could be crazy.
Now can you?
Yep.
And how I did that was I went to Zoom, the share, highlighted, hit Control, highlighted the Atlantic, then highlighted the other one with Control, and then shared. Then it gave both files up. It's the first time I think in WebEx it automatically does it for sure. Okay, so the total sales for the Atlantic, they're in the first quarter here. Click that on, Control C, and then I can take that right over to here, Control V. You can also drag and drop that if you wanted to. But I do want to show you too that if I change a number up here, I'm back over in the Atlantic, first quarter, and I'm going to put 55,000 in there, hit enter. That number changed down here in the total. Notice the number over here automatically changed. So if you were putting together, you had here what we have is 4 different regions of the country with their sales. And what I did in column B, by cutting and pasting, I moved their total sales into these columns, each individual, and then was able to get a total for them all. When I'm working and let's say there was an error that was found in the Atlantic one, like I just changed that number, I don't have to make that change in 2 different spots. I only have to make that change in one spot and it will automatically change in the final item here, over here, that it did. So that makes it really nice and easy if you're working a lot and you have to go back and make changes. And if you have your items linked, you can go back to the original source, make the change, and it will kind of follow wherever it's linked to, where to go. So with these links, it's just a matter of Control C, Control V. As an experiment, I'm going to show you that if I click this on and copy, I can just, oops, come over here, just place that Control V. And that now is from here, from over here. So do you want me to walk you through splitting the screen again? I'll do it and I'll talk slowly so that you understand it. Okay. So I'm probably going to don't save. And I'm still sharing, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you want to split between 2 worksheets. Go up to View, select New Window, then go to View again, Arrange All. Make sure you have Tile on in Windows Active Book. And now, right now I click Chart on, and on my left-hand side, I know you folks aren't seeing it, right? You're not seeing the chart, are you? All right. I'm going to go back to Stop Share and show you what I am now seeing. So
Uh-huh. We see it now. A pie
You do see
graph
it
with
now.
a chart.
And this, again, comes in handy when you're working on 2 different things, 2 different worksheets, but you want information from the other to be moved into the other one, or you need to work on both of them at the same time. Candace, okay with it? Lisa? You're muted.
I'm fine. This is way over my head and I don't think I'll use it anyway, so that's okay.
Okay. Gary, have you ever used it before?
I've had two separate workbooks, not worksheets, and there is definitely a need I have for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found the instructions in the book a little cumbersome, and and again, I think a lot of it is the book itself is 2013 and I'm using 2016. You probably picked it up as I walked through it. It's really simple, but if not, there's videos on it and simple instructions that you can Google and find. Sharon?
Yes, thank you. I'm looking forward to experimenting with it.
Okay, you too, Candace. And Nicole,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to work through it on my own.
And Nikki? Do you, either one of you currently ever split your screen and work on with 2 worksheets at the same time?
I usually work with one worksheet and just toggle between the two.
Yeah.
Well, now you can toggle when they're both in front of you.
Yeah,
You know,
it's gonna be
kinda
helpful.
They'll make it simpler. Yes. All right. So that is the linking of cells within the same worksheet and how you do that. Now, believe it or not, that just takes us right through module 3, 4, and parts of 2. And then module 5 was all about charts and creating charts and working with charts, which I know on the first night we ran through a lot of that. And we touched a little bit on it tonight. The homework assignment that I have for you has you creating a chart for you to do. And really that kind of wraps up everything that I had planned to cover tonight. Next week, we're going to be inserting hyperlinks from workbooks in Word documents, doing that and sharing workbooks. And then also tracking, changing, and a little bit more on protecting a file. And that covers what is in intermediate Excel. So with that, I want to ask you if there are any questions that you have from what we went over tonight, because you're going to be, if you do the assignment, and again, it's optional, you don't have to do it, but it walks you through practicing what we've gone over today. And I highly recommend it because again, learning Excel, you got to use it and play with it. And you're going to find it's powerful and you can do a lot with it. You can create these charts right into an Excel, but then link them to a Word document if you're doing a report so that the chart is in the text of your report that you're writing. And it makes it nice for the, makes a nice presentation for the viewer. And you also can use it in PowerPoint. I'll probably pull up a few different files that we have that we use it in. All right. So I'm opening up the floor for questions.
So now's your chance if you have questions about anything she did tonight or one of the other nights even, or maybe a lot of the stuff being presented. I know Lisa said it was a little bit more than what she bargained for. Maybe if you have a question on something that suits your needs that's more basic, go ahead and ask. Something you were wishing that you would learn how to do in this class. You guys are all so shy.
If we were laughing in person, I'd be making you do the homework right now.
Yeah, and that's always nice too, because then if you have problems or questions, you're right there.
Yes.
Is the homework something you'll send us or something you're going to give
Yes,
us?
I'm going to
Yeah.
send it to Lisa, Stacy, and then she'll pass it out to everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and you'll get a recording link too.
Okay. I think the homework is always, even when I can't do it, it's important to be moving around in it.
Yeah. Lisa, what did you hope to learn in Excel?
I don't see Lisa, but I know she's there. Her and
She's
Gary
at
are
the
missing.
bottom.
Yeah.
Ruth.
I used to be treasurer of an organization. I had my son compose the sheets that I needed to use. He's professionally involved, so it was like kindergarten to him, but it was like amazing to me. So I would not be composing, designing spreadsheets, but just using them and then plugging in information to copy over to the next sheet and that sort of thing.
Yeah, yours is more, your needs are more to learn how to navigate.
Yeah, right. I'm not likely to be designing it or figuring out formulas. It's nice to see where all that information is, but I don't anticipate using it for anything.
All right.
Okay. So Sharon, what about you? Do you have any questions? No?
No.
Nicole?
I
You
don't-
might want more advanced stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have any questions, but I will say over the last couple weeks, when I'm in Excel sheets at work, I've caught myself doing a couple things that I'm like, oh, I picked that up from the class that I didn't realize before. So it has been very helpful.
Yay.
Yes, thank you.
Well,
And
thank you.
what about Nikki? Did you have any?
No, I'm just learning by doing. Starting a 6-credit accounting class through SUNY Brockport this Saturday. So this is like a good refresher and a good learning some tips that I didn't know before to prepare me for that class.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And good luck.
Yeah.
Nikki.
Thanks.
Yeah.
This will definitely help.
Yep.
Gary? Gary, you sound like you've used Excel quite a bit when you were working.
Yeah. I mean, I did. It was all kinds of reporting and stuff, but I'm picking up stuff, and I still do stuff in retirement. So I realize now I need to revamp a whole spreadsheet that I have. So I got my work cut out for me. So
Are you going to link stuff together?
yeah, I mean, I'm putting data in on one sheet, then I'm trying to find it someplace else, and so I've got to bring these two, particularly these two worksheets. I got to link them somehow. So link the data, make life easier for myself going forward.
Yeah. And the split screen.
Yeah,
That'll be handy.
yeah. So
And Candace?
Well, even
Oh,
if they're
sorry.
in 2 files, like I just showed you how to split the screen when you're working in the same workbook. But if you have 2 different workbooks, the windows and the right arrow will split the screen so you can have both those workbooks open and you can toggle between the 2 of them, cutting and paste. It's really great. At one point, I had 2 computer screens at work. I was really liking that, but then they gave me a bigger computer screen, and so I can do the split window and move from each one. But it does make it nice when you have a big screen to do something like that, or 2 screens. Except for I can tell you the one downfall of it is when you get interrupted and you answer emails or answer the phone or whatever, and you go back, you got to make sure you're on the right document that you want to play with. Because I've changed things in something and said, oh my God, I'm in the wrong place. I needed to be over in this section of the screen. And then Candace, did we ask you?
It's all, like you said, learning by doing. I have a good time with it and I spend a lot of time doing it. So mostly I reinforce what you've taught by just trying to work it out. And YouTube is a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
Mostly I use charts. I don't use numbers a lot. Mostly I just try to keep track of information that way.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So with all that, we're going to sign off for the night, and I'm going to immediately send Stacy the email with the 2 assignments. One of them, I think, Lisa, you'll enjoy. One is creating a check register. So it'll give you a little practice in something kind of basic. The other one is about Christmas trees. You guys can look at it, create the document, and do some chart making and inputting some formulas into it. Okay.
Great.
Thank you,
All
Mary.
right.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone,
you.
for coming. We'll see ya. And this recording will come out probably, I'll send it to you tomorrow, maybe tonight, and the homework too. So
Thank
be
you.
watching. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night.
You're welcome.